Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to a very special and exciting edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock. We apologize for the delay. We had planned on starting at 10, but we're finally all together here now. So we're ready to go, and today is a day of celebration. That's simply put. I mean, a week ago, we didn't do a show. There was nothing to talk about, lack of content. Oh, we got content tonight, boys. We got content tonight and then some. Starting with the most exciting news of the day. Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association reached a new collective bargaining agreement this afternoon, finally halting a 99-day owner-imposed lockout fraught with rampant tension and colored by heightened mistrust. 26 of the 38 union leaders voted in favor of a 5-year CBA that saw its members make significant gains with regard to minimum salaries and the competitive balance tax threshold, among other areas. The 30 team owners ratified the deal by a unanimous vote, according to the league. Whoop, hold on one moment. I got a pop-up video. Okay. Let's try that. All right. The 30 team owners ratified the deal by a unanimous vote, according to the league, finalizing a CBA that provided them with an expanded postseason field and the ability to place advertisements on uniforms. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, the face of pointed criticism from players throughout the process, said he could not be more excited about the future of our game and vowed to work more closely with MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark with hopes of bridging a noticeable gap. Manfred said during a news conference from MLB headquarters in New York, "One of the things that I'm supposed to do is promote a good relationship with our players. I've tried to do that. I think that I have not been successful in that. I think that it begins with small steps. It's why I picked the phone up after the ratification and called Tony and expressed my desire to work with him. It's going to be a priority of mine moving forward to try to make good on the commitment I made to him on the phone." With the end of the second longest work stoppage in the game's history, the market officially opened, paving the way for trades and free agent signings. Players are required to report to their respective spring training facilities by Sunday, and the first exhibition games will take place 4 or 5 days later. Opening day will come on April 7th, a week later than originally scheduled, but 162 games will nonetheless be played. Under the new CBA, minimum salaries will begin at $700,000 in 2022, an unprecedented 23% increase from the prior year, and rise to $780,000 for the final year in 2026. The competitive balance threshold, which taxes big spending teams who surpass certain thresholds, will be set at $230 million in 2022, a near 10% increase from last year, and reach $244 million by 2026. A $50 million player pool to reward pre-arbitration players who excel will also be incorporated. Tony Clark said in a statement, "Our union endured the second longest work stoppage in its history to achieve significant progress in key areas that will improve not just current players' rights and benefits, but those of generations to come. Players remain engaged and unified from beginning to end, and in the process re-energized in our fraternity." Clark has scheduled a separate news conference tomorrow. Other changes within the new CBA include, get this, guys, a 12-team postseason with the top 2 division winners earning a first-round bye. A 45-day window to impose rule changes with feedback from a joint committee beginning in 2023. A universal designated hitter. A 6-team draft lottery implemented with hopes of curtailing tanking. A provision that prevents teams from optioning eligible players more than 5 times within a season. 2 measures aimed at limiting service time manipulation. A full year of service time awarded to players who finish within the top 2 in respective Rookie of the Year voting. and draft picks awarded to teams who promote players on opening day and finish among the top vote getters for major awards. Additional advertising through patches on jerseys and decals on helmets. An international draft, a component that added another layer of difficulty to negotiations yesterday, could be implemented as early as 2024. The union has until July 25 to decide on an international draft, which would trigger the removal of draft pick compensation for high-priced free agents. Under the league's proposal, the draft would be a 20-round hard slot system for 16-year-olds outside the United States, Puerto Rico, and Canada. Commissioner Manfred told ESPN's Jesse Rodgers today that he felt a great weight because of the harm the lockout caused for fans. I have a great job, but one of the negative parts of it is when you have a situation like this where you're depriving the fans of the game. I feel a great weight from that. When we learned that they ratified, I felt that weight came off my shoulders. And he began today's news conference with an apology to fans, saying, I know that the last few months have been difficult. There was a lot of uncertainty at a point in time when there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, sort of the way the process of collective bargaining works sometimes, but I do apologize for it. One of the good things about collective bargaining is that it gives our players an opportunity to have input on what their workplace in the game is going to look like going forward, and they took full opportunity to provide that input during these negotiations. Our players are great athletes. I respect them, and I respect the input that we've received from them during this process, and we really did learn a lot. Tension between the owners and the current crop of players dates back to the ratification of the previous CBA in 2016, which paved the way for an era rife with tanking, service time manipulation, and cost efficiency that prompted player salaries to decrease at a time of booming league revenues. The bitterness escalated when the two sides failed to come to a mutual agreement for the COVID-19 shortened season in 2020 and boiled over as negotiations for a new CBA ensued. The union, looking to incentivize competition, put more money in the pockets of young players, diminish caps on big market spending, and revitalize the middle class of free agency, initially sought structural changes such as earlier free agency, automatic arbitration after 2 years, and cuts in revenue sharing. Their first core economics proposal came in May, but the league didn't counter until August. Manfred instituted a lockout on December 2nd, stating hopes that it would trigger accelerated bargaining, and the two sides went 43 days without talking. 8 days of negotiations in Jupiter, Florida, which saw the union relent on prior requests around free agency, arbitration, eligibility, and revenue sharing, ended with Manfred postponing the start of opening day on March 1st. The league imposed another deadline for this past Tuesday, this time for a full 162-game season, and finally agreed to higher competitive balance thresholds, seemingly carving a path for a deal. But the international draft, an unpopular mechanism for Latin American players who prefer a free market, emerged as a divisive issue that took 2 days to navigate around. Manfred told Rodgers today that he had serious concerns that the league would miss a chunk of the season and that the games would not be made up. He said there were spots where I was concerned where we were going to miss a lot of time. Whenever you think you get going and it looks like you can make an agreement and then it doesn't happen, that's concerning. We had two of those, one in Jupiter and one earlier this week. When you start to get momentum and you can't close, that's worrisome. At today's news conference, Manfred was asked if something could have been done to get a deal done sooner without pushing back opening day and canceling several spring training games. He said the way the process of collective bargaining is designed to work under the statute, it's really driven by two things, time and economic leverage. No agreement comes together before those two things play out in a way that you find common ground. I think we made an agreement when it was possible to make an agreement. That agreement will now trigger a frenzied next 4 weeks for the sport. More than 200 free agents, most notably Freddie Freeman, Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, and Chris Bryant, remain unsigned. Cash-strapped teams such as the Oakland Athletics and the Cincinnati Reds are expected to trade star players. The Rule 5 draft will be canceled, but arbitration hearings will be scheduled, and it will all take place with spring training as the backdrop. A major question will loom beyond all of that. Can the league and its players begin to work more harmoniously together? I do believe, I hope that the players will see the effort we made to address their concerns in this agreement as an olive branch in terms of building a better relationship. Manfred said, we built some processes into this agreement where we're going to be interacting more regularly with players on topics like the international draft and rule changes. I think those opportunities for positive interaction help to build a better relationship. So that's the story. That's the story. And all I can say is, I mean, like I said to Michael Bullock when Bullock called me up this afternoon, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Our long national nightmare is over. We're going to have a baseball season, a full one. It's going to be an exciting one. So we lose a week, big flipping deal. It's okay. It'll be April 7th. And all I can say, boys, is what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive if you're a sports fan. I mean, we got championship week in college hoops, which we're going to get into in our main event tonight. We also have, the NHL and NBA seasons. About a month or so to go with that, and then we'll have the start of the Stanley Cup and NBA playoffs. Of course, baseball coming back. Of course, we can't forget about the road to WrestleMania. And now that excitement is back. It feels like we now have that sense of normalcy now. After these last couple of years, with all this pandemic nonsense that we've had to endure. But all I know is I'm just so damn glad that we're going to have a baseball season. And what a way to jump it off right out of the gate, April 7th. The Yanks and the Sox. Let's go. Myself, Michael Bullock, Yankee Stadium, the Bronx. And on top of that, MF. MF, I'm with a tear in his eye, I am sure, will be. Yes, Bullock, I see it. Bullock's got his gear on. He's ready. And he's the one who broke it. And then from there, like I said, MF, with a tear in his eye, will get to watch his team, the Atlanta Braves, on their opening day at Truist Park, celebrate their first World Series championship since 1995, raising a World Championship banner into Truist Park. And on the same day, they get their rings and all that. So I know MF's going to be all over that like molten lava. So, yeah, so a great day to be a sports fan. And everything sounds great, but the two things that I'm the most happy about, expanded playoffs. I like the sound of that. And I also like the universal designated hitter, which means no more pitchers. The pitchers will never have to hit again. And I know MF is going to be very happy about that because that was a National League thing for so many years where the pitcher had to hit. Well, not anymore. They don't. As part of that universal DH. So, but the postseason thing, that's the one I'm most excited about because, that's my Christmas, the Major League Baseball playoffs and top two division winners getting a first round bye. I mean, that is awesome. So, man, I cannot wait. So, it's about damn time you guys got off your lazy you-know-whats and finally got this done. Michael Bullock and I had a heated vent session yesterday. And, we let our frustrations out. And who knows? Maybe they intercepted it. Maybe they overheard it. And they finally decided to do something about it. So well done. Well done to everyone involved. Rob Manfred, Tony Clark, and to everybody who made this happen on behalf of all of us fans of this great American pastime. We simply say thank you, and it's about damn time. So I don't know what else there is for me to say on this. So good old MF, Michael Fletcher, our Joe Buck when it comes to Major League Baseball. It took a lot longer than we would have liked, but our national nightmare is finally over. April 7th, play ball. Let's raise a World Championship banner in Truist Park.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big thing of this whole thing. First off, if we heard that, I think what really accelerated it was more for the fact that they were saying that, after they lost the first round and We started hearing cancellations. I think you started to feel like, all right, they'll get it together, give it some time, but you got to feel like, all right, we lost the first 2 weeks, and we've lost the first week of the season, the opening day, and the first 2 series. For me, it didn't bother me that I lost those first 2. Now, obviously, Bullock was upset, Florio was upset, and I was very optimistic. And I was like, you know what? Give it some time. Let's see what happens. And the real talk, and even Mad Dog Russo, Christopher Russo, the Mad Dog, was saying he honestly thought we're not going to see baseball till at least May, was his prediction. He's like, I don't think this is going to get done until May. So you had that going on. Then you had the fear of, you know what, how long is this going to be? And me and Michael Bullock said privately, now this was not, Anthony, I think you might be hearing this for the first time. Maybe you heard this. But even Michael Bullock's like, look, if it's in April, we don't need it. Even in May, we don't need it. We would need it right in June, because that's right around the point of the NBA Finals, and the Stanley Cup Final happens in mid-June. But after that, there's a long gap before we get to the NFL. So with that, we're thinking, all right, if you get a deal done in June, we can go abbreviated season, maybe 100 games, do a quick sprint, get to fall, we're golden. So we were ready to sit for as long as this takes. But there were some diehard fans that was really pushing for the narrative, get this deal done. Both sides came together. We started hearing rumblings that there was some progress being made, but there was a couple of sticking points. And then all of a sudden, bam, we got it. Deal done. Contracts are going to be ratified this week. And it is on. We have a season. And not only that, but we're getting the full 162. Not abbreviated, not everything else. Yes, they start a week later, but we got the job done. We got it, guys. We're going to get full season of baseball. Anthony, our schedule will not be altered at all. Yes, we do our respective teams during the regular season. Anthony does the New York Yankees. Bullock will be doing his Boston Red Sox. Obviously, I'll be working with the Atlanta Braves during the first half. Our second half, that's when the TXN crew starts to work. We start working mainly Saturday games. Mike Bullock does cover Sunday night. That's kind of been Michael Bullock's thing, so we're not gonna infringe on that. And then, of course, postseason, now that it's expanded, that means that's more work for me and Florio during that's more work for both of us during the postseason. So yeah, it's gonna be nice in one way, but it also could be a dagger in another way, because that means that means more baseball time, meaning lesser time in the NFL. Yikes! But we'll navigate through it. And then, of course, we get the whole kit and caboodle. That leads us right into the World Series, the road to the World Series. Now you got to think that I don't think this ends in October. This probably will go now, probably in the first or maybe second week of November, y'all. So we might be playing some November baseball, but get used to it, because it looks like this is going to become the norm now. So with that said, I'm excited. Yeah, we get baseball, and we get the full 162. I even talked to Michael Bullock. I kind of private messaged him, and I'll even say, I was like, guys, why not? Let's go to Fenway. Let's get a game. Let's do a game. Could be an afternoon game or a matinee game, whatever. Just find a day and let's do it. Let's just try to pick a game, and let's go up to Fenway. Watch the Red Sox play. Of course, if we had the money and the resources, I would love to go to Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium. Never been there. I have not been to that. I've never been to the Hollow Holes. And the thing is, I got family in New York. I have family that lives there. And I also have family that lives near Citi Field, not far from there. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't know if they still live there or not. I'm going to have to double check. But I do got somebody who lives pretty close to the Bronx. We could go there. Stay a night up at our, that person's house if they'll let us. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see on that. And then we fly, and then we'll take the trains. We'll take the subways all the way up to Yankee Stadium, man. So I mean, we got a lot of things to figure out. We got a lot of things to mull over. But definitely the Fenway is one I definitely want to do. And I said any team. It doesn't matter who they are. Does not matter who the team is. Let's just pick a game and run with it. But until then, let's see how this plays out. Man alive, this is going to be insane. So, but I'm happy. I'm happy for the fans because they're the big winners in this. Because the baseball fans are the ones that kind of got cheated out of it for a little bit. But now Major League Baseball is making nice and they're saying, you know what? We're not going to cheat you guys out of the lost games. You're getting the full 162, and we're gonna work around this to make sure that we do get the full 162 games. Maybe the games that were supposed to be earlier in the year, that gets pushed to the end of the line, to the end of the season. So think about this. Yankees and Red Sox were supposed to jump. Yankees and Red Sox are going to jump it off. But I know for you, Michael Bullock, the final series might be against the Rays. And for you, Anthony Florio, the final series for you guys, I think I heard is the Houston Astros. And then I know for the Braves, I know we had a series against the Marlins, and I think we've actually finished our year out on the road against the Mets. So I'm not looking forward to going to Citi Field in October, freezing my you-know-what off. But, hey, it is what it is. But, yeah, so I'm excited like everybody else is. Michael Bullock, you're the one who broke it earlier today by saying that baseball is back. I know out of all the guys, other than Anthony Florio, you must have been the most excited because I know how passionate you are about your Boston Red Sox, and you must have been over the moon to hear that we finally got a deal. The CBA is going to be ratified this week, and in the next few days, we're going to have baseball, my friend.
Oh, man. It's almost like you have to remove the smile on my face because that's how happy I am right now. I'm glad they got this deal done. I mean, there were certain times we were like thinking maybe it's not going to get done because of all the disagreements on certain things. And I mean, yesterday, they had so much momentum. They closed the gap on so many certain things. The CBT, the arbitration pool. And then all of a sudden you hear something about the international draft. That's when things took a turn. And then after that, it was like Major League Baseball canceled more games. But then all of a sudden, they were like, you know what? Let's cool down a little bit and let's resume the talks. And that's what they did later on in the night. And today is when we found out they found a resolution when it comes to the international draft. And they just had to hammer out some other things. And then, boom, done. And the Players Union voted 26 to 38. And that's when I was like, channeling my inner Daniel Bryan and going, yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
We have a season. We have a season there, baby. And I'm a big time baseball fan. Not just a fan of the Red Sox, but I'm a fan of the game as well. Because just being able to watch a game on TV, whether it's the Red Sox or even, of course, with MLB Network, with MLB Tonight, with going live inside the park to all the different games, and even back in 2007, guys, and I don't know if I told you guys about this, but my dad and I actually went to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and just to relive the history of this great game from those historic ball fields, especially the Polo Grounds. Now, I mean, that's just freaking awesome. And if anybody hasn't been to the Baseball Hall of Fame, you need to go there and check it out. But
MF and I have as well. We went over 20 years ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, me and MF, along with my father and my late great uncle Eddie. We went up there August 25th, 2001 on a Saturday afternoon, one of the greatest days of our lives. And MF and I will never forget it for as long as we live. And the only thing that would have made it better, is the only thing that would have put it over the top is if we got to see the World Series trophy. But unfortunately, we did not. But other than that, one of the best days of our lives.
But I've had the chance to see the World Series trophies.
So have I.
Yeah, the Red Sox. Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to see it. I've been fortunate to see it for the Red Sox. The 20, I think it was the 2007, 2008 one. But I did get to see the two rings that cute baby girl had. I felt so bad for her though, man. I mean, I'm gonna try to explain it. The rings themselves was so heavy that it literally, like, she couldn't even put the whole hand up. Like, it literally covered two of her fingers.
Well, and the thing is, Fletch and Florio, I mean, it was back in 2019 when then the Pawtucket Red Sox were still along. They actually brought the 4 World Series trophies, and I got to be around them, and I got to try on all 4 of the World Series rings.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Go into my Facebook page and try to find the photos of it. You'll see it. I mean, just to try on those rings was when someone said, do you want to try these rings on? A part of me was like, really? I mean, and I was like, okay. And
how heavy were they?
Oh, they were heavy.
I knew
they were. But you know what? I didn't care. Just to try on the actual World Series rings was something I'll never forget. I mean, being around the trophies is one thing, but to try on the actual World Series championship rings, man, that's something I'll treasure forever. But anywho, I can't wait for this season to get going. The details of it is the players will report to spring training on, I think it's Sunday.
Yeah.
And then the spring training games get going on March 17th or 18th. And then April 7th, boys, we start for real.
By the way, Anthony, just a little note. I just went on the Atlanta Braves website just to hear about what they're gonna do with the Atlanta Braves and the World Series thing that they were talking about. All right, so yes, opening day on April 7th, the pennant is going up in Truist Park.
Yeah.
However, on the 9th, on April 9, that is the day that the Atlanta Braves will get their World Series championship rings. So it's not done yet. It's still, I guess everything got put on hold because of the lockout, but they did say, and they have confirmed, that they will be presenting the Braves their championship rings in the stadium at Truist Park on April 9th. So the 9th is when the players get their rings. The members of the 2021 World Series champions, Atlanta Braves, will get their championship rings. Like I said, the 7th is going to be an emotional day. The 9th is going to be an emotional moment because some of your favorite Atlanta Brave players are going to get their rings, and I can only imagine just the emotion from some of the guys. Like, I hope we keep Freddie. I know Freddie. There's a lot of talk about Freddie Freeman right now, but now that everything is opened up again, that's the only thing that I think Atlanta's worried about right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keeping Freddie Freeman
the thing is, Fletch. And the thing is, Fletch, I did hear rumors, according to John Heyman, there are a couple of teams that are interested in Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
One of them, the Dodgers.
Yep.
And the other team, Florio, you're going to like this. It's your team, the New York Yankees.
We get him. That's huge for us if we get him. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I've heard. Yes, I've heard LA. I've heard Atlanta. Yes, I did hear the Yankees. I can't deny that. I've even heard maybe the New York Mets. That was another team I just heard that could be after Freddie Freeman. If he goes to the Mets, man, oh man, we're gonna be so pissed.
Imagine if he goes to a divisional rival, MF.
Yeah, that was the thing that's the thing that would really set us off. But the thing is that, remember, there's also that talk about maybe that if we lose Freddie, Atlanta might be hunting, might be heading to Oakland to try to get their first baseman, their all-star first baseman.
But all I can say is these next few days, I mean, especially tomorrow, it's going to be frenzy.
Oh, yeah.
With whether it's trying to sign free agents or making trades, I mean, all this while getting ready for spring training. I mean, this is going to be crazy. But you know what? At this point, who cares? I mean, we're just so happy to have this great game back.
Yeah.
And all I can say is April 7th, can't get here fast enough.
I was going to say, thank you, Major League Baseball. You just kept Strictly Sports alive for a few more weeks. Now we got some stuff we could talk about. We got deals coming up. And then, of course, the Major League Baseball preview. That show's now official. We can make it happen, ladies and germs.
Yes.
So we'll definitely get into that in the very near future. So we got
absolutely.
Thank you, baseball. You actually gave us some actual content that we can actually use on our shows, because we were kind of screwed for a little bit here, not knowing what to do.
We're not screwed now.
But no, let's go.
But anyway, this is an exciting time, especially for all the baseball fans. I cannot wait for this season. But you know what? I'll even watch spring training games. I mean, just to have live baseball TV sets. I mean, normally I don't get excited about spring training games, but after all this, you know what? Who cares if it's spring training? Just to have live baseball back in our TV is something that I'm going to be watching. So
absolutely.
So congratulations. Baseball is back, baby. So with that being said, Florio, as exciting as it is, we have to move on to the other things we had on our docket. And boy, howdy, it's a wild week in the NFL.
Wild week in the NFL. And we start off with the blockbuster trade. The blockbuster trade that sent Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. Go crazy, Uncle Ed. Your Denver Broncos just got themselves their first franchise quarterback since Peyton Manning. Oh, my goodness. Let's break it down. After weeks of negotiations in one of the biggest trades in NFL history, the Denver Broncos have agreed to send a significant package of players and draft picks to the Seattle Seahawks in exchange for Russell Wilson, for a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Russell Wilson, sources told ESPN on Tuesday. The Broncos have agreed to trade quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, defensive lineman Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, 2022 number 9 overall and 2023, 2 second-round picks, 2022 number 40 overall and 2023, and a 2022 fifth-round selection to the Seahawks for Wilson, and a 2022 fourth-round pick, sources said. And MF was the one who found this. It's only fitting that he leads off on this. So, MF, Russell Wilson, a Denver Bronco. What about this blockbuster trade? You definitely got the ball rolling on this one. You reached out to Bullock and myself. You texted us about this, and then you shared the details on your Facebook there. So MF, I mean, what do you say? I mean, Russell Wilson, Denver Bronco, this blockbuster trade that has gone down. This is all you, man. You're the one who got the ball rolling on it.
Yeah, this was massive, man, and it stems because there's another part of the story, and we haven't gotten into it yet, Anthony. But it also surrounded over what happened with Aaron Rodgers. Now, initially, a lot of people were saying that it looked like Denver was going to go after Aaron Rodgers. That was the goal. That was the mission. Denver hired the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, brought him over to be the new head coach. All of a sudden, you're thinking, all right, maybe Aaron Rodgers goes there. Devontae Adams goes there. You think that Denver is going to set themselves up for something really good, really strong, everything else. So, out of nowhere, there's been some rumblings in Seattle for a couple of years now that Russell Wilson was not happy where he was. He didn't like with the way the team was going. There was some friction. There was supposedly some friction between him and Pete Carroll over decisions on the offense, the team, everything else. And there was some rumblings. And thank you, Pat McAfee show, because they were really one of the team, the people in the forefront that jumped on this and was saying, hey, Russell's not happy here. And all of a sudden, there was talk that he wanted out. Like, there was talk about him going maybe to New Orleans. There was talk about him possibly going to Dallas. And all of a sudden, we were watching this and we're like, and this was a year ago. This was 1 year ago. So prior to this, everything was that there was rumblings, that there was trouble, there was some infighting, whatever you want to call it. And at the end, nothing happened. Russell decided, I want to stay with the team, everything else, and they played through the season. Not had a great season, but they played through the season. Then on top of that, then you started hearing, all right, it looks like it's going to be Aaron to Denver. All right, so what happens to Russ? There wasn't much talk about Russell Wilson being traded or anything else. Everything was quiet on that front. Too quiet, as a matter of fact. Now we know. But then Aaron decides, well, I think we'll get into what Aaron decides, but Aaron decides his fate. Next thing you know, Denver pulls the trigger and they get Russell Wilson. Oh my goodness. The landscape of the AFC West now changes again. Think about this. Justin Herbert, Carr, Mahomes, and now Russell Wilson, the quarterbacks in that division. Oh my goodness. That's insane. The bounty that they made of this trade for what they gave up and what Seattle's getting back in return is actually not bad. Drew Lock, you get Noah Fant, who's one of my personal favorite players. I loved him as a tight end in fantasy, and he's going to be a great addition for Seattle. Then they gave up 2 1s, 2 2s, I think a 4 or 3 or 4. I mean, it was a ransom. It was a heist what Seattle got in return. It was a King's Haul. So you're thinking, oh my God, but that's crazy. What are you going to do now? If you're Seattle, now you start thinking, all right, we got rid of Russell. We don't have our quarterback. Is it possible? And there's a lot of quarterbacks out there. You know, there's rumors about Mitchell Trubisky. There's rumors about Marcus Mariota. There is a guy out there in Houston. Despite the legal issues with them, but if he's able to get away from the legal problems and all the stuff that happened, there is a guy named Deshaun Watson out there who is right for the picking. And you know for a fact you got the draft capital. You just got rid of one of the biggest contracts in the NFL with Russell Wilson. So you got money to lure Deshaun over. You got an okay defense. You got DK Metcalf, one of the best wide receivers in the game. Why not put Deshaun Watson with the Seattle Seahawks? That would be a game changer. No doubt in my mind. But we'll wait and see. Russell Wilson going to Denver, man, that's going to be interesting to watch. And that's going to be a big, big, big deal because Russ gets an opportunity. But the thing is, I don't know if going to Denver might be the right move for him because look at the powerhouses he's walking into. Kansas City and the Chargers. Oh, by the way, did you see what the Chargers just did today? Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? No. So I'm not even – I don't even want to think about what they just did. They're out of their minds. All right. But anyway, this was a great deal. Russ, good luck, my friend. I wish you nothing but the best in Denver, man. Good luck. Bullock, man, what a trade this was. It's yours.
Yeah, what a trade this was. I mean, this basically changes the landscape of the AFC West. I mean, you basically, like you said, you have Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and now Russell Wilson. Now, I don't know if this is going to get them in contention, but maybe, I mean, I think they still got a lot of work to do, but at least they upgraded the quarterback situation. And yeah, Russell Wilson, obviously a lot of things went down in Seattle, like you said, disagreements with Pete Carroll, and it's eventually what led to him getting traded. And all you can say now is, guys, is that now this will lead to maybe it's the start of a rebuild for the Seattle Seahawks. So, yeah, so to me, there's really nothing more for me to add. Fletch pretty much said everything on it. So, Florio, it's yours.
The trade gives Denver the quarterback it has sought since Peyton Manning retired, and it gives Seattle a foundation on which to rebuild without the quarterback who led the Seahawks to their only Super Bowl title. Wilson agreed to waive his no-trade provision and passed his Broncos physical on Tuesday night. These moves clear the way for the Seahawks to send him to Denver, ending his historic 10-season run in Seattle that included 9 Pro Bowl selections, 1 Super Bowl title, and more wins than any quarterback ever has posted during his first 10 seasons in the league. The Broncos were Wilson's preference if he was traded, sources told ESPN's Brady Henderson. The other players involved in the trade still have to pass their physicals, but the teams now will start the process with the NFL to confirm the trade, which can't be officially announced until this Wednesday at 4 p.m., the start of the 2022 league year. Denver acquiring Wilson MF said it had something to do with it, but it had something to do with Aaron Rodgers' decision to return to Green Bay. Denver GM George Patton initiated trade talks with Seattle for Wilson at least 2 weeks ago. But in recent days, as trade talks with Seattle heated up, it became clear that Wilson was the Broncos' plan A. The Broncos and Packers had not discussed the Rodgers trade this offseason. The Seahawks quietly were listening to offers for Wilson and got calls from multiple teams. One league source estimated the total to be over a dozen teams. Wilson sensed he was going to have to move on, and if he did, he wanted to be going to a winning program. Denver, with all its offensive talent and its tough defense, is in win-now mode. Denver has been trying to find a suitable quarterback since Peyton Manning retired, just as the organization tried for years to find a suitable quarterback after John Elway retired. Enter the 33-year-old Wilson. Wilson will join a Bronco team led by new head coach Nathaniel Hackett. The team's offense includes wide receivers Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, and KJ Hamler, tight end Albert Agwugbonam, and running back Javonte Williams. The Broncos' odds to win the Super Bowl improved from 25-1 to 12-1 Tuesday at Caesars Sportsbook. Only 3 teams, my Buffalo Bills at 15-2, the Kansas City Chiefs at 8-1, and the Green Bay Packers at 10-1, have better odds to win the Super Bowl than the Broncos at Caesars Sportsbook. The Seahawks, meanwhile, saw their odds to win the Super Bowl fall from 40-1 to 75-1. Wilson beat the Broncos in Super Bowl 48 and will become the first quarterback to start for a team he beat in the Super Bowl, according to ESPN's information and stats information research. He was set to count $37 million against Seattle's salary cap this coming year. His trade will save Seattle $11 million in 2022 cap space. Seahawks are also releasing All-Pro linebacker Bobby Wagner, another franchise cornerstone who was drafted on the same day as Wilson in 2012, in a move that will save them $16.6 million in cap space. Seahawks take on $26 million in dead money by trading Wilson, and per ESPN and Stats Information Research, that's the second most dead money a team has ever incurred, trailing the $33.8 million the Philadelphia Eagles ate in the Carson Wentz trade. We'll get to that in a little bit, but nonetheless, and the Seahawks are scheduled to play a home game against the Broncos next season. Ho, ho, ho. So imagine that. Russell Wilson will be returning to Seattle in a Broncos uniform. Wow, that is going to be something. So we don't know. We certainly don't know when that's going to be. We won't know that until the schedule release within the next month or so. So, but what a story that is. No question about that. He had 2 years and $51 million left on the 4-year, $140 million extension he signed in April 2019, including base salaries of $19 and $22 million, $5 million March roster bonuses in each year, making up the remainder. Had he remained on Seattle's roster as of the March 20th, Seattle would have owed him his $5 million bonus. And Wilson leaves Seattle as the franchise's career leader in most relevant passing categories and the only quarterback to win a Lombardi trophy for the Seahawks. So, big story there. From one franchise quarterback to another, Aaron Rodgers is staying put in Green Bay. And get the schematics on this, and then we'll have Bullock started off. The beautiful mystery tour will continue. Aaron Rodgers is not done with the Green Bay Packers just yet, and now there really is a chance the 4-time NFL MVP will finish his career in the same place it started. Rodgers announced Tuesday on Twitter that he will return to the Packers for the 2022 season. Sides were working on a new deal that would lower his salary cap figure for the 2022 season while giving Rodgers contractual clarity well into his 40s. And from what we learned, I believe it's a 4-year, $200 million deal. So he's going to become the highest paid quarterback in history. So Michael Bullock, Aaron Rodgers, staying in Green Bay.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, if this deal is what it turns out to be, I mean, because Aaron Rodgers did say that the rumors of that deal is not true. But the thing is, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But if it is, this will undoubtedly make sure that he finishes his career in Green Bay. But my only question is, guys, will he last the entire 4 years? Because he is 38 years old. So we'll see if he actually plays through it. But the thing is, after back-to-back MVP years, I mean, it's hard to say that he won't play through it. So it's going to be very interesting. But at least now they don't have to worry about their quarterback situation, and Rodgers is still going to be their guy. So really got nothing more to say. So Florio, I mean, Rodgers is staying put. If it does turn out to be that 4 years, will he last the entire 4 years?
That remains to be seen. But the Packers Super Bowl odds improved from 15-1 to 12-1 on Tuesday at Caesars Sportsbook, which has Green Bay as the favorite in the NFC. Rodgers promised to avoid a lengthy decision-making process, and now GM Brian Gutekunst, once part of Rodgers' dissatisfaction with the organization, can put together his plan to field another Super Bowl contender. It means Jordan Love, who is entering his third NFL season, will have to wait at least another year before he gets a crack at the starting job. Rodgers sat for 3 seasons behind Brett Favre before he took over. What followed was you remember late in the 2020 season, Rodgers called his future a beautiful mystery, and shortly after the NFC Championship game lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, included himself in a group of players with uncertain futures. And what followed was an off-season-long boycott. He missed workouts, organized team activities, and minicamp, during which ESPN reported that Rodgers was so disgruntled with the Packers that he told some of the organization that he would never play for them again. And upon his return to the team on the eve of training camp, Rodgers signed a restructured contract that eliminated the last year of his deal for the 2023 season, making it easier for a divorce after the 2021 season. And after the season-ending loss to San Francisco in the divisional round, the Packers maintained their desire for Rodgers to remain with the team until retirement. Coach Matt LaFleur said the team would be crazy not to want him back there. And he said, Aaron Rodgers said he did not want to be part of the rebuilding process, given their salary cap troubles. Entering the offseason nearly $45 million over their projected salary cap, not having Devontae Adams under contract either could have been the case, but Rodgers must have received assurances from Gutekunst that he would be able to put together another contender. Packers have won 13 games each of the last 3 years, but with their combined 39 wins, set the NFL record for most wins in a 3-season stretch without reaching at least one Super Bowl. Last season, Rodgers broke Favre's franchise record of 442 career touchdown passes, finishing the season with 449. Depending on how much longer he plays, Rodgers has a chance to break several of Favre's other records, including career passing yards. So 4 years later, he's back for more, and another MVP award, 37 TDs, 4 interceptions, missed one game, loss at Kansas City because of his mandatory quarantine as an unvaccinated player. But it didn't prevent the Packers from earning the top seed for the NFC. So, not as controversial as last offseason. You made all those controversial COVID comments, but still, I'm glad that they got this done sooner rather than later. I'm glad it didn't drag. So not much more to say here. So MF, the quarterback that I've called for many years, the American hero, he's staying in Green Bay.
Yeah, this was a big deal too. I think a lot of people just did not know if he was or was not. And props to Green Bay for getting the deal done and keeping him on the team. And yeah, it's amazing. Great thing for them. Now there was some rumors and some discrepancy about the number of years and the millions, because initially they were saying it was 4 years, 200 million, 153 guaranteed, but now they're saying that that's actually not true. That it said it's a cap friendly deal. We don't know what that means. We don't know the official numbers yet, but that Green Bay was going to keep Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, it's a great thing for them. They needed him. I don't think they really believe in Jordan Love, especially after the couple of games that he started wasn't that great. I think a lot of people in Green Bay was like, no, we need Rodgers. Do whatever you got to do to keep him. Jordan's not ready. So great deal. Good thing for them. And yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So Anthony, back to you.
And we have one more quarterback story to address, and that is Carson Wentz. He's on the move again. And let's get the schematics for this one here. The Indianapolis Colts are trading quarterback Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders for a package of draft picks, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter yesterday. The Colts will receive the Commanders' third-round picks in 2022 and 2023. Sources told Schefter the 2023 third-rounder can become a second-round selection if Wentz plays 70% of Washington's snaps. The teams also swapped second-round picks in 2022, with the Colts moving up from number 47 overall to number 42, and the Commanders are getting a 2022 seventh-round pick. Sources told Schefter that Washington will pay the full $28 million due to Wentz for the 2022 season, which includes a $5 million roster bonus coming next week. Commanders offered 3 first-round picks to the Seattle Seahawks for Russell Wilson, a source told ESPN's John Kime, but Seattle opted to send him to the Denver Broncos in the AFC. Washington quickly moved on and negotiated with the Colts for Wentz. Trade comes 1 week after Commanders GM Martin Mayhew said the team had canvassed the league effectively to find a quarterback. Washington has started 32 quarterbacks since it last won the Super Bowl following the 1991 season, including 8 in the last 3 years. Taylor Heineke went 7-8 as Washington starter last season, throwing for 3,419 yards with 20 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Washington owns the NFL's worst total QBR since 2018, and its 71 touchdown passes in that span also ranked 32nd. That's a big reason the team has gone 24-41 in that stretch. Wentz spent 1 season as the Colts quarterback after Indianapolis gave the Philadelphia Eagles first and third round picks for him in February 2021. It was an attempt to find their next franchise quarterback following the retirement of Phillip Rivers after the 2020 season. The number 2 overall pick in the 2016 draft, Wentz threw 27 touchdown passes and tied his career low in interceptions with 7 last season. His long-term status with the Colts came into question late in the season. However, as he struggled in the team's final 2 games, when it had to win only 1 to make the playoffs. He completed 59% of his passes through 2 touchdown passes and had 2 turnovers in losses to the Las Vegas Raiders and Jacksonville Jaguars to close out the season. Threw for at least 200 yards in only 2 of the final 8 games. In the upset loss to the Jags in the season finale, Wentz posted a career-low 4.3 total QBR. MVP candidate with the Eagles before tearing an ACL late in 2017. He lost his starting job to Jalen Hurts during the 2020 season, which led to his trade to Indianapolis. Wentz is headed to his 3rd team in the last 3 years and will face both of his former teams next year. Wentz will play the Eagles twice and travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts next season. Wentz's departure means the search for stability at quarterback continues for the Colts since the out-of-nowhere retirement of Andrew Luck in August of 2019. Jacoby Brissett didn't show enough to prove to be the answer. Rivers was a bridge gap quarterback at the tail end of his career, and Wentz failed in his only season in Indy. Coach Frank Reich will now have his 5th starting quarterback in as many seasons. A situation star Colts linebacker Darius Leonard also highlighted on Twitter. Sam Ehlinger and James Morgan are the only quarterbacks currently on the Colts roster. Neither has started an NFL game. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I don't know what else there is to say. So MF Carson Wentz, he's now going to be the new quarterback of the brand new Washington Commanders. Is this the answer for Washington?
You know what? I have to say, I don't know if he is or not, but I will say this, that it's going to be very interesting to watch. It's going to be very interesting to see. Maybe this might be the opportunity that he needs. You know, going back to the NFC East, he had a lot of success over there. Maybe this is what they need. You know, you got a good coach in Juan Rivera. Riverboat Ron Rivera, being the head coach of the Washington Commanders now. You got Scary Terry, Terry McLaurin. You got Antonio Gibson, a very good running back. The defense can get a little bit of some work, and there's going to be some opportunities here. So, but for Washington, they needed a quarterback. Caleb Haneke is a good player, but he's not a starter, honestly. You needed an upgrade at starting quarterback. You got an upgrade now with Carson Wentz. Yeah, it was unfortunate what happened with Indy. We'll see how that plays out, but I think this is going to be a really good opportunity for them. So for Carson, it's back to the old division, the NFC East. And I think he's gonna do very well with Washington. I think he's got some good supporting cast around him. We're just gonna have to wait and see. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about this being crazy. I mean, who knows? Maybe Carson Wentz going back to the NFC East, maybe could do something for him. But yeah, I mean, who knows how things went at the end for the between Wentz and the Colts. I mean, like you said, all the Colts had to do was win one game and they were in, and they unfortunately couldn't get the job done. And yeah, so maybe a change of scenery is the best thing for Carson. So we'll wait and see. But he is going to a team. Well, you got a good coach in Ron Rivera, so we'll wait and see how it goes. So with that being said, Florio, there's really nothing more for me to say except I think it's time to get into the main event.
Main event. We've been waiting for this. I know I have. Championship week in college basketball. The conference tournaments in college hoops, and man, oh man, the madness has started, and now starting today and for the next several days and weeks, this is where we get into what I like to call the meat and potatoes of it all. And the major conferences, we're just gonna address the developments, and since MF is scheduled to lead off first, I think it's fair that we start with his conference, and his conference, of course, is the ACC, and the developments that have come out in this tournament. I mean, take a look at it. All right, so it included a buzzer beater today. It started today. Well, there were other games. There were playing games earlier in the week, but the meat and potatoes are here and now. And MF's Dukies knocked off Syracuse 88-79. Miami with that buzzer beater thriller to beat Boston College 71-69 in overtime. Virginia Tech defeating Notre Dame 87-80. And North Carolina has just put away Virginia. So you got Duke against Miami and Virginia Tech against North Carolina in the semifinals tomorrow night, and then the championship game on Saturday. So that's the story in the ACC. But MF, I mean, you've been all over this since it started the other day with the playing games, and you're now through the quarterfinals, and now you start the semis tomorrow. ACC tournament. How have you liked the action so far?
I mean, so far it's been very good being at this year's tournament at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Look, the ACC is really turning it up right now. There was a couple of games out there that we were wondering how this was going to play out, and already right out of the jump, we have a couple of good big wins. North Carolina continuing their hot streak off of the heels of them knocking off Duke in the final regular season game. and they are continuing to make that push and that presence being known that they want to be in the ACC championship game. Well, not only the ACC championship, but that they want to be fighting for the ACC crown and getting the automatic bid. I think a lot of people felt like they needed it to win it outright in order to get in and steal a spot from one of the bubble teams out there. And right now, they're looking really good. Duke had a little bit of a rough game today against Syracuse. Syracuse really played them wicked tough early on, but some clutch baskets towards the end gave them a big win. Of course, it wouldn't be the ACC tournament without a screaming Michael Fletcher moment. And yes, we had one. We've had two in the ACC tournament already. Two buzzer beaters already in the tournament. You talked about Miami knocking off Boston College in overtime. Yes, I'm still recovering my voice. It's kind of a little hoarse from doing it, but I'm always excited doing the semifinal tomorrow. But the fans are thinking in the back of their minds, could we get UNC versus Duke 3 at the Barclays for the ACC crown? Very rare. Not many times we've had Duke and North Carolina battling for the ACC title, but it's there, guys. The what if on Saturday night at the Barclays we get Duke and North Carolina in the ACC final?
You've gotten it before. We've
gotten it before. So, I mean, that would be insane if we get it. So, yeah, I can't wait. It's been a great tournament so far. It's just going to get better because tomorrow is a semifinal Friday, and I can't wait. So,
and MF, I think what we should do in an effort to save time, you just shared your thoughts on the ACC, and you were slated to lead off anyway. So,
sure.
What have been your takeaways from the other major conference tournaments during this championship week?
Well, right now I think Big East is definitely the favorite. I think Providence is the favorite, but they did get themselves a major scare today.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, I think that you want to hold on to your rear ends on that one.
Screaming Anthony Florio moment there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think right now it could be PC and Villanova at the end. I think these two teams are destined to fight each other for the Big East crown. As far as the Big 12 goes, I think it's Baylor. I don't know why. I think the national champions. They're out.
They're gone.
Oh,
They lost to Oklahoma tonight.
I stand corrected. Well, goodbye 1 seed for them.
Yeah.
I would probably say now I got to say Kansas.
Agreed.
I think Kansas is now the favorite. So with that happening, I did not know. I apologize. I haven't been following all the coverage today. I'm sorry. I had a job. I was working. As far as SEC, I don't know. I've heard Auburn's name getting thrown around. I've heard Kentucky's name getting thrown around. Maybe it's one of them too. Big Ten, why not? Fighting Illini, Illinois. I think they can win it. So I'll go with them for Matt Ward. That's for you, bro. Pac-12, I think it could be UCLA. I want to see how they play. They've been looking really good lately. Other than that, am I missing anything? Oh, A10. Yo, URI, step up. Let's go. You could steal a couple of years ago, you remember, URI needed it to win the tournament just to get into the NCAA, and they did. I think it could happen again, guys. I think URI could win the A10. I'm just going to go with the homer pick on that one. Is there anything I'm missing, Florio? Conference-wise?
I think we've covered I think you've covered all of the major ones that we follow.
Excellent. All right, then I'm good to go. So my goal is yours. I said Kentucky.
All right, I wasn't quite sure if you did. So
yep,
all right, so that was all right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, this has been one heck of a championship week up to this point. I mean, the ACC, we've seen some crazy games so far, and yeah, Duke got a little bit of a scare, and from Syracuse, and of course, Miami basically just barely holding on against Boston College, and but I think it could come down to Duke and North Carolina in the ACC championship game. I mean, that's how I see it. I think they're destined to face each other a third time. And then when it comes to the Big East, obviously it's going to come down to Providence College and Villanova. And I mean, that part I'm worried about when it comes to Providence College because two times these two have faced off and it's gone Villanova's way. So will the third time be a charm if they get to that point? We'll see. But Villanova almost didn't make it to the next round because St. John's basically took them to overtime, but Villanova managed to hang on here. So in the A10, I mean, I definitely could see URI making a run here like they did a couple of years ago. But man, I mean that is something. So the Big Ten, obviously I gotta go with the Fighting Illini here. I mean, I think I could see them coming out of there. And then the SEC, I mean, basically I gotta go with Kentucky with this one. So, and then who knows? I mean, Arizona is a team I gotta watch in the Pac-12 here. So,
agreed.
I mean, I would have to say that I think they're the ones that are going to come out and win this tournament in the Pac-12. So, but we have seen some crazier things happen. But actually, Fletch, Rhode Island actually lost to Richmond tonight. So Rhode Island's gone. So
yeah, they're not going.
We gotta go. Yeah, they ain't going dancing. So yeah, so who knows how it's going to come out of when it comes to the Atlantic 10. So did I miss any, Florio?
I think
when it comes to conference wise.
Did you do the Big 12?
Oh yeah, the Big 12. Yeah, I mean Baylor. I mean, what can you say? I mean,
they're gone.
Many people thought they were the teams to come out of the Big 12 tournament, but they're gone. And I think I gotta go with Kansas as well. But then again, it's tough to go against them with their success over the years. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I gotta go with Kansas. So there's really nothing more for me to add. So I'm just so excited to see what the remainder of championship week brings. And of course, we all know what we're looking forward to, Florio, as I give it to you. And that is
Selection Sunday.
That is correct. So
especially
it's yours, my friend.
Especially with what we're going to be doing.
Oh yeah. So it's yours, my friend.
Yes, sir. We had so much fun with it last year. And thankfully the stars aligned, and we got the stars aligned, and we're going to do it again this year. So I forgot to mention, so far we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 teams that have already qualified for the NCAA tournament. Jacksonville State out of the Atlantic Sun.
Including Bryant.
Well, I got the list right here, Bullock. I'll get to them. Don't worry. Jacksonville State out of the Atlantic Sun. Second appearance for them. The other was in 2017. We have a couple of first-timers, the first one of which from the Big South Conference, Longwood. First ever appearance for them. So we're gonna be calling them for the first time on Sunday. From the CAA, Delaware. 6th tournament appearance, first since 2014. From the Horizon League, Wright State. 4th appearance for them. Last was 2018. Loyola of Chicago out of the Missouri Valley. They're 8th. They were in there last year. Of course, Bryant, a second Rhode Island team. They're based in Smithfield, Rhode Island. They won the NEC conference tournament the other night, even with that disgusting display that we saw, which we're not going to get into. First ever appearance for them. Murray State, yes, that's a school we know very well. Murray State, 18th tournament appearance for them. It's their first since 2019. From the Patriot League, Colgate, going back to the dance. They were in there last year. The Southern Conference, Chattanooga, they won it in grand style on a buzzer beater. 12th appearance for them. Their last was 2016. South Dakota State, out of the Summit League, 6th appearance, 2018, the last appearance. From the Sun Belt, we have Georgia State, their 6th appearance, 2019, the last one. And from the West Coast Conference, of course, the odds-on favorite, many people's odds-on favorites to win it all. And that is Gonzaga, another tournament title for them, their 24th tournament appearance. And, of course, last year they made it all the way to the championship game before losing to Baylor. So that is that. So those are the teams that are in. Gentlemen, if you want to share any quick thoughts before I get into my thoughts, especially with who we've got in the field so far. I mean, interesting fields, and of course, couple of first timers in Longwood and Bryant. I mean, what a great story that is. So, but anyways, let's break it down. Of course, since I'm the Big East guy, I'll start with the Big East, of course, and started on last night. Butler with an 89-82 overtime winner over Xavier. St. John's easy win over DePaul 92-73, and Seton Hall outlasting Georgetown 57-53. Today, PC, who won, Providence College Friars, as you know, they won their first ever Big East regular season championship, and they got the number 1 seed in the tournament, and they barely survived the number 9 seed Butler today, 65-61. What a game that was. I saw the tail end of it, and man, you want to talk about Shakespearean drama. There definitely was a lot of it. They will now meet number 4 seed Creighton, who disposed of number 5 seed Marquette, 74-63. The number 2 seed, Villanova, like Bullock said, they got a scare from St. John's, and they survived them 66-65. And UConn, the returning to the Big East UConn Huskies, are 90 seconds away from putting away Seton Hall, so I think we could pencil them in. They have a 14-point lead. So we have all chalk in the semifinals. Number 1 Providence against number 4 Creighton, and number 2 Villanova against number 3 UConn. Ooh, I'm gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna have some fun with this in those 2 semifinal matchups tomorrow night, and then of course the championship game Saturday night on Fox. All this, of course, from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden in New York City. So I can't wait. And as far as who I think could come out of it, of course, you know me. I want Providence to win because I'm a diehard PC basketball fan. Ask these guys, especially MF, and dating back to our school days, and when I used to wear the PC sweatshirt to school a lot back in the day, and I don't know where that thing is. It probably got lost in the shuffle somewhere, but it's the most excited I've been for a PC team in a very long time, and I want them to win. I really do. I just don't know if they can, though. I mean, they barely got by Butler, but then again, Butler gave them fits during the season, so I think they can get by Creighton, but then it depends on Nova and UConn. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game no matter who comes out of it, but I want PC, but I just got this feeling about Nova. I mean, because Nova, you know, they're the battle-tested team, so we'll see. ACC, I mean, right now, I'm leaning towards Duke right now. I mean, NMF almost had all chalk. We had one upset. That was Virginia Tech when they upset Notre Dame, 87-80. Duke barely getting by Syracuse. Miami with that buzzer beater to beat BC, 71-69. And Carolina with a 20-point beatdown of Virginia. So you got Duke against Miami, number 1 Duke against number 4 Miami, and number 7 Virginia Tech against number 3 North Carolina. Semifinals tomorrow night, championship game Saturday night, following the Big East championship. So, and I know MF won't mind doing whatever game he gets, but I know deep down in his heart and his soul, he's salivating. He wants Duke and Carolina. I know he wants Duke and Carolina, especially with this being the swan song for his boy, Coach K. So we'll see. I mean, it's been done before. And you know what? I'm going to go on the record. I think we're going to get it. I really do. I think it can happen, but I think the Dukies will get their revenge, and I think they're going to start the farewell tour for Coach K, because as you know, he's retiring at the end of the season, regardless of what happens. So, and I know if MF has his way, they'll send Coach K out in style with a championship. And if that happened, you thought MF was emotional with the Braves winning the World Series? Oh, that's nothing compared to how emotional MF will be if his Dukies sends his boy Coach K out with one last title. So, but we'll see. You never know. But I got to go with the Dukies in that one. Moving on here. Big Ten. I mean, Illinois is a great story. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sorry, guys. I got to respectfully disagree with you on that one. I'm going with Purdue. I've liked what I've seen from Purdue this year, and I think Purdue is gonna come out of that. But today, Indiana beat Michigan 74-69. Iowa knocked off Iowa with a whooping. You want to talk about a holiday ham? Oh my goodness! Iowa holiday hamming Northwestern 112-76. Oh my goodness! Michigan State with a 76-72 win over Maryland. And we have an upset in the Big Ten, gentlemen. Penn State has beaten Ohio State 71-68. Holy Buckeye, they're gone. So tomorrow in the quarterfinals, it'll be number 1 Illinois against number 9 Indiana. 4-5 matchup with Rutgers against Iowa. Number 2 Wisconsin against number 7 Michigan State. And number 3 Purdue against number 11 Penn State. Semifinals on Saturday on CBS. And the championship game Sunday on CBS, all from the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Big Ten country if there ever was one. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, Illinois is a great story, and that's a great pick, guys. But I respectfully disagree with you guys. I got to go with Purdue because there's something about this Purdue team that's really standing out to me. So I'm going with them. Big 12, it's Kansas, but let's address it. Oklahoma State was ineligible. A postseason ban was imposed by the NCAA, so Oklahoma State gone. They would have been the 6th seed had they been eligible, but they were disqualified. So we only had 9 teams, so we had a play-in game last night. West Virginia beats Kansas State, so. But today, Kansas, number 1 Kansas, easy win over West Virginia, 87-63. TCU with the upset over Texas, 65-60. But the upset of the tournament so far, the defending national champions, the Baylor Bears, they were the 2 seed in this tournament, and they lost to Oklahoma, 72-67. And then Texas Tech with an easy win over Iowa State, 72-41. So semifinals tomorrow, number 1 Kansas against number 5 TCU. And number 7, Oklahoma against number 3, Texas Tech. Championship game Saturday night before the ACC championship. So, and all those games are at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri. So, we'll get into that. But Kansas it's definitely Kansas's to lose now. So, especially with all those upsets. SEC tournament, Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida, the home of the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, Tampa Bay Lightning. And I'm sorry, guys. another respectful disagreement. I know you guys like Kentucky, but I'm actually going with Auburn. I really like this Auburn team, and I think Auburn's going to come out of that. Today, Texas A&M, 83-80 overtime win over Florida. LSU beats Missouri 76-68. Mississippi State over South Carolina 73-51 in Vanderbilt. And we had another major upset. Number 11 seed Vanderbilt knocking off 6 seed Alabama 82-76. So a couple of upsets. So we got number 1 Auburn against number 8 Texas A&M tomorrow in the quarters. Number 4 Arkansas against number 5 LSU. Number 2 Tennessee against number 10 Mississippi State. And number 3 Kentucky against number 11 Vanderbilt. Semifinals on Saturday afternoon on ESPN. And the championship game Sunday afternoon on ESPN. But for me, I got to go with Auburn. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky won, but I just got this feeling about Auburn, guys. I mean, I think they've been the best team in the SEC this year, so I got to go with them in that conference. And then from there, we looking at the Pac-12 tournament from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm with Bullock. I got to go with Arizona. I mean, MF, you make a great case for UCLA, great argument, but I'm going with Bullock on this one. I got to go with Zona. I mean, this is the best Arizona team I've seen since the days of the late, great Lute Olson. And I know he's smiling down on the proceedings as of right now. So you had playing games that started on Wednesday and then today. Arizona barely getting by Stanford, 84-80. Colorado over Oregon, 80-69. UCLA beats Washington State 75-65. And right now, just underway, number 3 seed USC against number 6 seed Washington. So we have a chance for all chalk here again because USC is the 3 seed and all the other higher seeds have advanced. So we have number 1 Arizona against number 4 Colorado tomorrow. And then number 2 UCLA will meet either number 3 USC or number 6 Washington. Those semifinals tomorrow on the first game will be on Pac-12 Network. The second game will be on FS1. The championship game will be on Fox following the Big East championship games. So, but I'm with Bullock here. I got to go with Arizona. And then in the Atlantic 10, as we close here, that tournament is being held from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. And these games have been broadcast. The first round yesterday, there was a couple of playing games. They were on ESPN+. The games today and tomorrow are going to be simulcast on the USA Network and Peacock. Yeah, the USA Network got this. And you're not going to believe who the play-by-play commentator was. Jack Collinsworth, the son of Chris Collinsworth. He actually did the play-by-play. And yeah, so I was very surprised. But anyways, sorry, Rhody Ram fans. The dream ends. Yes, URI barely got by Duquesne yesterday, but a tough luck loss tonight to Richmond, 64-59. They were the 11th seed in that tournament, and they are not going dancing. I'm sorry to say it. The only hope is UMass. But let me get into today's results. Fordham knocked off George Mason, 54-49. St. Louis over LaSalle, 71-51. UMass, their dream stays alive. They knocked off George Washington, 99-88. And then, of course, Richmond with that tough luck, with that win over URI, ending the Rhody Rams' dreams. So 64-59, the final there. So tomorrow in the quarters, number 1 seed is Davidson. They will meet number 8 Fordham. Number 4, St. Bonaventure against number 5, St. Louis. Number 2 seed, Dayton. That's who UMass will be playing next. UMass is the 10th seed in this tournament. Number 3 seed is VCU, and they will be playing number 6 seed, Richmond. Those games will be on USA Network and streaming on Peacock. The semifinal games will be on Saturday on the CBS Sports Network, and then the championship game will be Sunday afternoon on CBS and streaming on Paramount+. Same can be said for the Big Ten championship as well. So, I haven't really followed the A-10 this year, but it's a toss-up. Davidson is the favorite, but watch out for Dayton. you guys remember a couple years ago, and my heart still breaks for these guys because 2 years ago, this team was so good. They literally had a chance. They had literally way more than a puncher's chance to win the national championship. They were that good 2 years ago. But then we all know what happened at this time 2 years ago. Uncle COVID ran wild, and man, my heart breaks and bleeds for those young men. I mean, that team was so fun to watch 2 years ago. And who knows, maybe this could be, a launch pad here. So keep an eye on Dayton, but right now I got to go with Davidson. So that's who I think comes out of it. So I think I've covered all of the bases when it comes to it. So all of the others have had their winners. So yeah, we really don't cover these other conferences. So all right, I think I've covered all of it. So all right, so with that will put the bow on this very exciting edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you tomorrow night, 11 p.m. MF's channel, Braves Fan 95, Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will have Friday Night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. And then from there, Sunday night, 6 p.m., right back here on the Tone 25. This will be, I believe, our 10th or 11th. I think this might be our 11th overall. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this will be our 11th overall annual Selection Sunday special, but it's going to be the second year in a row that we're going to be doing this sucker live. It's going to be live as it happens. I'm going to be the Greg Gumbel. MF's going to be the Clark Kellogg. Michael Bullock's going to be the Seth Davis, and I'll be relaying it, all the matchups as they happen, courtesy of the Selection Sunday special on CBS, and we'll be of course you're not going to hear it from our end. You're not, but when the matchups are announced, I'll announce them. We'll give early thoughts as the regions come out, and then when everything is all set and ready to go, we'll do our breakdowns, our predictions, and then we'll let you all know who we think will ultimately cut down the nets on Monday night, April the 4th, from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. So, and on top of that, I'm pleased to announce, gentlemen, I'm bringing back the Bracket Manager. I know how much you guys love it. I'm bringing back the Bracket Manager. So I got to hash out the details on that one. I got to get that up and running. So as soon as I do, we'll get the ball rolling on that. Hopefully we'll have a nice turnout with that. So we'll see what happens. So that'll be on Sunday. And then Monday, of course, we'll start it all over again with Ridiculously Raw and Wednesday Night Mayhem. And this show next week, maybe we'll do some live commentary. Who knows if it warrants it. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of free agent news from baseball and from Major League Baseball and the NFL. But I think that's pretty much it. So I think we've covered everything. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. This is Anthony Florio for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and of course in spirit, Edie Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio. So long. Bye, everybody. Bye.